Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is 8 o'clock on Wednesday, 9th of August, 2017. Before the show starts, I want to say a special shout out to Maya Khan. She's our social media specialist. She handles the YouTube channel. She's dealing with a medical condition. She's a member of the team, and like any member of the team, she's invaluable. This Progressive Empowerment Party team, they blow mine. This party has grown so fast. So many brilliant minds, so many critical thinkers. I mean, it astonishes me, the level of conversation. My game, I have to come with my A game on every WhatsApp, every message, every phone call, every interaction on Facebook. They're not playing low politics at all. The Progressive Empowerment Party, we have diverse teams working on just about anything required for politics and governance. And there's a clear line and a clear distinction. Nobody wearing more than one hat and everybody focused on the same objective. But I keep hearing this same concept. Teamwork makes the dream work. And the Progressive Empowerment Party, you had to see it. If you haven't experienced it, come Saturday in Tunapuna and see what this party, the level this party is playing at. Anyway, Maya Khan tonight, we have an app chat between Maya, Cindy, and myself for the app development, and I'm thinking, we've talking whole week that I could get a night off, and I'm thinking tonight gonna be the night off, even though I promised a couple people because we have some issues to discuss, but we could have stuck a pin in it. And then I opened this message, and I know it's difficult for her to send these messages. She's very ill, and she sent a message to Cindy, and the message that she sent to Cindy, and I read this thing, and it says, "Hi there, would you please put the link to the live on Appy? I will try to see if I can view it here in my hospital bed." Because she's not been seeing the live videos, and she is the person who backs up the live videos, and every night she backs it up from where she is in Michigan, and she backs up the live videos and runs the YouTube channel. So, I would think she'd be enjoying her vacation away, but she's not. And our team, one of these, I want to name our team. You see, I really want to give them all the plugs they deserve. But last night, while the show was going on, one of our members in San Fernando, a car pulled up outside his house while he wasn't there, and fellas came out with big stone to threaten his wife. They say, "Oh, there's PP, and we know where all they live in." PNM and UNC, all they have to be so stink and dirty that you all don't care about people's lives, and you're going to terrorize people to try and hold on to your power. But it's done, because even if people don't stand up in public and say it, the reverberations going through the grassroots tells me, and you could hear it. We've united the nation 7 months. It's like an earthquake. It's a tremor. You could hear it. Black, white, brown, green, every color in between. They're waiting. They're waiting with this finger cocked. They're voting orange. Watch and see. Anyway, we have plenty of things to discuss. Let me get down into the thing. Maya, get well. To the rest of the team.
Revelation.
To the rest of you, spread the word now. You see the name of tonight's video? Predators in Paradise. You hear the song we open with? Call everybody.
He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. And who ain't dead, the bad news, who ain't dead, bad news, who ain't dead, the bad news, who ain't dead, bad news. Talk, you're mocking pretender. I check your lyrics and I confess you. Far too long, you're fooling the children, filling the heaven with much education. Doomsday reach, wipe and the repeat, cause the children come in to take back the beat. The power of the word in the conscious styling. For a brand new morning. The power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire.
Rocking the roots of the vampire system to the PNM and the UNC. This is not a good day, This is not a good day. The children have come back to take back the streets. You hear the lyrics?
Talk your talk, you pump pretender. Talk your talk, you bloody deceiver. Talk your talk, you serpent master. Talk your talk, you freaking
it's fire. Fire from a side. Trinidad and Tobago is coming to take the country back. They climb on in orange because they see a bridge, umbrella, They see a chance to escape you and they're gone. They're gone. Illusion shatter.
He promised to fire next time. He promised to fire next time. He promised, he promised, he promised, he promised, he promised to fire next time.
Share it on all groups. Share it on all threads. Share it on your wall. Spread the word. Share the video. Call them out.
Body boom, they talk, you talk. The muffin pretender. Check the lyrics and I confess you're far too long. You're fooling the children. Telling the head when we watch education. Doomsday reach. And you retreat. The children coming. Sitting back the street. Power the wood. Conscious styling. I say the power the wood. The rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk, you talk. You're fucking pretender. Talk, you talk. You're planning deceiver. Talk.
This next election, that campaign, Trinidad will born again. The people waiting to hold hands, one people under one flag, and reject those two mocking pretenders. Kamala and Keith, mystery with the bullshit. We ain't taking that no more. Plotting for people. They're just sending people in big store because of their freedom to associate. The deal.
Everybody talking, nobody listening. Oh my God, what really happening? What is the matter? This is chatter. Going right down to the heart of the matter. Everybody talking, nobody listening. Everybody talking, nobody listening. Nobody listening.
Spread it, please. Hit share. Hit that share button. Hit that share button. Let everybody know that we're here. Hit that share button. Light it up. Fill Facebook. Listen, we have enough nonsense. I hear this girl get suspended. I'm waiting to hear on what grounds they suspended her. I hope she gets a lawyer. If somebody knows that woman police officer, the SRP who was suspended, please get my number to her. 682-2110. I know plenty lawyers. We will sue the state. You cannot suspend somebody for an invasion of their privacy. That is re-raping a rape victim. Well, you're mad. But we're sticking up in. If you know her, tell her, contact me. We're not letting that go. You say we organize for Riyadh. Riyadh have the best criminal attorney in Trinidad right now. The state have to answer for what they do that boy, but we stick up in there too. We need to be one people under one flag, and nobody must move against any of the people of this country. We must be that. One family, red, white, and black. We bleed in the same color. All of we, Trinidad and Tobago, no matter the hair texture, the skin color, all of we, one people together. Mr. Sinanan, I hear you cancel a contract. You cancel a contract, brother. You cancel a... I tell people your sphincter muscles doing so. You know, because I'm telling you, if you or any of the bandit clan name on one of them documents is jail for all, you know. We waiting, we cook like mapapi. Forest, we waiting, you know. We waiting. We waiting. All you hide, all you play hide and seek. Duck and run. Duck and run. You cancel the Cabo Star or the Ocean Flower, whichever one. Listen, Tobago people done taking pressure and jam. We go link them up. I watched Dunkirk the other night. We'll get everybody who have a boat. They're going to move back and forth and take supplies to Tobago. But we want to make sure from Keith Rowley come down. All who involved in what going on the port is jail for all you. Let your name call. The days of the mocking pretender over. And if you think your boys and girls in high public office that covering for you and ducking for you could cover and duck, they might cover and duck for themselves. Hold tight. Tonight we're dealing with predators in paradise. What is worse, the illegal drug trade or the rapacious banks? We are proposing erecting a maritime security wall to combat the scourge of illegal drugs. But what deals with the continuous assault against the people from this enemy within? Are banks laws unto themselves? If not, who calls the shot? Who regulates what banks can and cannot do? And I'm saying this because today I had a lengthy conversation with a senior lending credit officer from a national bank. An international bank, sorry, BSA. And he said to me that the bank's policies now, and I want you to listen to what I'm about to tell you. Because they may not tell you this when they turn you down for credit. But the reason you're not getting credit, and people asking, what happened to the middle class? Remember when Peter George was drizzling the olive oil and he was talking about the middle class disappearing? I wonder where Peter George thought they went. Well, I want to tell you where they went. The banks have destroyed the middle class. The banks have destroyed them. When you have a situation, this is what this senior credit officer told me today. Banks now have a policy, and they will tell you that if they respond to this, they will say that we lie, and they will have some exceptions to the norm, but the norm is this: they only lend in cash for cash. So if you need $100, you have to give them $100. They're giving you no interest on your $100, and they're charging you 18% on the $100 they lend you. That is theft by any other stretch of the imagination. But worse, all of the banks now are moving together as a bankers association, who we call the banksters, which is bank gangsters. And the banksters have said that the people of Trinidad and Tobago do have a problem with what passing for banking, but that is bullshit. That is a lie, because the people don't have any real choice. Choice has been taken away from them, and they've played this play well. But we need to deal with this, because a Progressive Empowerment Party government is going to regulate the banks. We're going to regulate the financial sector. Insurance companies, what Clicquot, Dupre and crew supposed to be sitting at the president's pleasure tonight. Tonight. Only in Trinidad he could have get away with that. Madoff and Sanderson or Stanford or whoever, all of them sitting down in jail tonight. But Dupre and crew get away. In fact, Dupre come back to claim the company. The man returned to the scene of the crime. How could the banks say that they only lend in cash for cash? I want you to understand something. The middle class, and I wrote it today, so I'll read what I wrote. Banks, the middle class, and national development. Without a middle class, society becomes polarized, trapped between the desires of an increasingly minute, wealthy class and the needs of a massive, impoverished class. And that is the recipe for social unrest. The middle class, that magical buffer between the haves and the have-nots, that bridge to success, that opportunity for complex social development is built on two things: risk and credit. In the days when banks had set interest guidelines to follow, to pay for depositor funds, and could not charge fees for services, they relied heavily on loans to bring interest, their main source of profit. That profit paid depositors interest on their money and gave the banks a profit. Now that banks, for some reason, and we're going to find out why, now that banks are no longer required to pay interest on depositor funds. You see, I heard under Patrick Manning, a finance minister, use the term mop up excess liquidity in the sector. And that's under Manning, eh? That's under Manning. And he said, mop up excess liquidity in the sector. And I didn't understand then what he meant, and I found out after that banks knew and governments knew that the massive influx of narcotic dollars and corruption money in Trinidad created a disparity and an imbalance in the system. The banks had plenty times more money in their vaults than they could lend. The amount of narcotics money, financial intelligence unit and all that bullshit aside, because they were bringing it by the hundreds of millions of dollars and depositing it in banks. We had restaurants in this country open today, closed down tomorrow, open next day, closed down tomorrow, rebuild, redo, undo. Money was pelting through because they had to hide it. They was playing hide and seek. So the man who owned the restaurant also owned a contracting firm, also owned the block supply company or whatever, and they're working together, interlocking, all three making deposits, and all the deposits fake. And the banks found themselves in a situation where they had too much money and they couldn't recover by holding money and lending for interest. They couldn't. There wasn't enough demand for loans to use up that much money. So they found themselves in the crazy situation of being currency warehouses, and they had to start to charge fees. This is where the fees nonsense came from. They had to start to charge fees to hold money. Because there was this show, Men in Black. Boys, is Men in Black? No. With Will Smith and this next guy. Anyway, but the song was, you all know the Flecken movie I'm talking about. Anyway, I'll come back to me. But one of the things that they had to deal with in this movie is going to deal with this money launderer, drug trafficker, and the man hired them. They came disguised as exterminators, to deal with rats. The man said he had a problem. Rats was eating his money. And that was a terrible problem to have. Banks found themselves in a similar situation because they had to pay to house and store this money. Drug money, corruption money. You see, when corruption money happens, when you hear like what happened in the boom, in that 5 years, Manning and crew and all their partners, Malcolm Jones and the rest of the Bacchanal squad, is billions of dollars went. Napa, Sapa, Tapa, Scarborough Hospital, just those four is $3 billion. Gas to liquids, $3 billion. Waterfront, $4 billion. I mean, it's billions of dollars that had to come out of the system and go somewhere. These people have to put this money somewhere. But I come back to that. Banks started charging you to hold money for you instead of paying you money interest because they didn't need your money anymore. They had too much. Now that banks are no longer required to pay interest on deposited funds, their operating costs have fallen. And instead, because they used to have recurring expenditure, interest paid gone. What a fantastic... Imagine if you woke up tomorrow in your business. If you used to sell snow cones and you had cups, ice, syrup, and ice and syrup no longer needed money. That was free. All you had to buy was cups. Your operating costs fall. Now that bad boys, Will Smith and... Yeah, bad boys. Anyway, now that banks are no longer required to pay interest on deposited funds, their operating costs have fallen. And instead, being able to charge extravagant fees for every transaction puts them in a profit position without having to extend loans for interest, creating a perfect win for the bank. Zero risk and abundant profit. But it also decimated the middle class because it removed credit from the system. To restore the development of the middle class and to grow the economy, government has a responsibility to regulate banking, to dictate interest rates that must be paid for deposits and the interest rates that can be charged for loans, as well as either taxing heavily or legislating against this culture of exorbitant fees. Such a seemingly small issue, so critical for national development, has been treated with far less than the importance it deserves by both of the existing parties. Under a progressive empowerment party government, the financial and banking sectors would once again be heavily regulated and controlled. Fees would be restricted and interest rates set by central bank and adjusted as needs be to stimulate economic activity and safeguard depositors. Let me tell you what that means. You go and put $5,000 in the bank. You tell them, I put it there for 6 months. Short term, 3% interest. I'll leave it here for 2 years. Medium term, 8% interest. Put out on a fixed deposit for me for 10 years. Long term, 10% interest plus. And the banks would be mandated to pay you that. So it encourages thrift and savings. But no, because the banks are mandated to give you that and you have a reason to put your money in the bank and save. Because saving money is good for the economy. Now that the banks have your money but have to pay you interest, they have no choice but to rent your money out. Rent your money out at risk as credit. When the United States economy bubble collapsed, the housing bubble collapsed in 2008, Congress sat continuously for a week and the entire government could not stop working until they found a way to do one thing. One thing. Free credit up in the economy. That is why the United States is still the most powerful financial giant in the world. Because of credit. Only because of credit. They live on credit. And success leaves clues. The average businessman in Trinidad and Tobago cannot access credit to run his business, to operate his business. So we run it now like cash in, cash out. You buy one, you sell it, you bank 5, and it's stupid because the banks know that there are businesses in this country that are really credible businesses that if they got a financial injection of credit, because if your business buys and sells 100 of these a day and you are limited to 100 of these a day, but you make a profit on each one, the banks know that if there's a point in your business where you cross your recurring expenditure. Out of the 100 of these you sell a day, and you're making a profit on each one. The first 50 pays all your expenses. The next 50 is profit. And the bank know that they could look at your books and they could see that you have the operational capacity with the same standing recurring expenditure to sell 5,000 of these a day. So we will give you credit and we will take 20% of the profit. But they're not doing that. So your business cannot grow. So you're stuck and you're stymied. And that is good for the massive 1%. So when Peter George was drizzling his olive oil and lamenting the loss of the middle class, he didn't realize, but he was part of the problem. And he was a material beneficiary of this same shrinking middle class. Because if everybody else in this country could have accessed the credit to open 125 rituals or something like it, Mario Sabga Aboud wouldn't be the only Starbucks of the Caribbean. But he was fortunate. He could have opened a store a month. He knows how he gets his credit. The rest of Trinidad couldn't. It doesn't mean he makes the best coffee in Trinidad. In fact, his coffee is bullshit. Hong Wing coffee is probably the best coffee in the world. I spoke to the gentleman, the old Chinese gentleman who's been slaving over, I don't know if he's still alive. I spoke to him in 2015 when I was campaigning. And I don't know if he's still running the business. But if the banks have not yet gone to Hong Wing, you see, they have brands that build nations. Angostura Bitters should build Trinidad the way Tabasco builds Louisiana. They have brands that builds nations. Jack Daniels builds Tennessee's economy. You need to understand the power and the importance of credit to run a business, because you sit down there, credit is a cost to doing business, and it is a way to expand. If you allow credit back into the economy and people could access credit, then you would have a whole lot more of our people going into business. But that's not happening because we have a predator in paradise situation running. I want to ask another question. Everything in this country is imported. A massive amount of our economy is from exports, oil and gas. And all the money from the exports come in as US. And all the money that go out for the imports go out as US. But in the middle there's something called the spread. And the spread in Trinidad right now is they buy at $6 and they sell at $6.77. At least that was the rate today, or $6.79. Now that's a 13% tax on the money. And if everything comes in as US, and then imports has to, if all the money that coming in is US, coming in at 6. And if all the money that we have to buy US to bring in imports, we have to buy at 6.77. The banks are exerting a 13% tax on the national economy at the counter. How are the banks, who is allowing such a spread? If you are buying at $6, why are you not selling at 6.06? Or if you're selling at 6.77, why not buying at 6.74? How are you allowed this massive spread on the US? And who allowed that? Who allows that to happen? Because that is a 13%. So the average businessman and the average person shopping, because I have been researching for a long time trying to understand how our spending money is, our spending power is so piss poor. It doesn't add up that we could have this much money. Labor for a bucket of sand in America is labor for a bucket of sand in Trinidad. But labor for a bucket of sand in America, 1 hour labor is 9 buckets of sand. In Trinidad, 1 hour labor is 1 bucket of sand. And that don't make sense. That don't make sense, because when he works 10 hours, he makes 90 buckets of sand. And when we work 10 hours, we get 10. So we are nowhere close. We will never close the economic gap. And then they're talking about us being able to spend and live like Americans. We can't. But we're paying the same prices. Worse, he's making 9 buckets of sand for his hour, whereas we're making 1. And when he goes to buy a house or a house is 20 buckets of sand and a car is 10. Over here, it is 10 times that. So that doesn't make sense. Our earning capacity is 1/9 the Americans, and our spending power is less than 1/15. Because a car in America that sells for $25,000 US should, or 20,000 US, quick easy maths, should come to Trinidad for $140,000 landed. And if you spend 100% taxes, which is obscene, but if your duty, VAT, and shipping makes it 100% on top of that 140,000, it should be 280,000, but it's not. It's 500,000. Where does that spread go? Who is regulating what happens to the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago? The unions marching their ass up and down the road. They keep electing into high office in the unions jackasses like Ansel Roger, who can't do simple subtraction. So he can't understand what I'm telling you about here. But I want the union people to listen to what I'm saying to you, and I hope this makes sense. That you are marching for an increase, and they tell you, we will give you a 10% increase. And you sign for that, and then they increase the economy by 7% and absorb your 10%. You've marched for nothing. You've gotten nothing. In fact, most of the times, like when Kamala removed the VAT, for 3 months we celebrated, and then after that, the prices in the grocery were more expensive. They were more expensive than the added VAT price, because Trinidad has no regulation. Predators in paradise. Nobody's looking out for the laborer, and nobody's looking out for the consumer. So our minimum wage is based on nothing that makes sense. We do not have a symbol, a gold standard. We have nothing to say, and that's why I use a bucket of sand. And I would say, peg our economy to the United States economy. Peg a unit of labor to the United States unit of labor, because we're right here. And as long as it's not something that needs to be shipped or imported, price is supposed to be constant. It's supposed to equal, divide by 6 or 7. But it's not. And somebody needs to answer for that. And to the people who will listen to me and tell me, yes, but a mango in America is 450,000. Oh God, miss me with bullshit now. Listen to what I'm trying to say. We are having a conversation tonight, and it is impossible, not almost, it is completely impossible for the average person in Trinidad and Tobago to own a house. It's impossible. It's impossible. Let's not mix matters here. For the average person to own a home, it is an impossibility. To the people who go above and beyond, I'm talking about the people who end up buying a house 30 years ago. The value of your earning capacity now, as opposed to the average price of a house, it is impossible for you to meet the benchmark in the banks. But the banks don't want you. They don't want your business. The banks want the business of the man who owns the 150 houses. The bank manager going home by him for Christmas lunch. And he owns 150 houses. And as long as you could never afford to buy a house, you will rent from him, because your choices is that or homelessness. And we've created a two-tiered country where the average person needs to commit any crime that he could to get ahead. We've encouraged our people to take shortcuts and take chances, because no government to this day has seen it fit to understand the needs of the people. They get into office, they do whatever it takes to get into office, and they sleep with whichever devils they have to sleep with to get there. And when they get there, those are the only people they care about. Sure, Kamala and Keith will come on the mic and chatter, pay lip service to your problems and give you bullshit. Plenty excuses. Each of them have their attack dog in chief. Yellow is Rudal Munilal. Red now is Stuart Young. It used to be Faris. And their job is to come and distract you with bullshit. If they're missing the mark, the Express will do it, or the Guardian. They will give you a police officer with your leg up in the air. Take that. The real issues that need to be addressed in the country. How are people living? How you own a home? How do you get your children a proper education? Healthcare. We've seen 2 people die this weekend. We have a situation where TV6 would send Mark Basanta, Estonia and Panama, but they're not looking into global medical response at all. Worse, they did a piece on global medical response Trinidad and Tobago Limited. And if you Google it now, because TV6 can't remove the Google links, so the Google links are still there. But if you click the Google link, the TV6 file that it's supposed to lead to, missing. Who in TV6 went into the archives and removed the story about the ambulance service for global medical response? I know. Because I've all the files screenshot and saved before they removed it. So you missed the mark, Paul Anderson. Or you missed the mark. And we're dealing with you. We're dealing with you. After we finish your bullshit defamation lawsuit, we are coming with a class action lawsuit. And Paul Anderson, we want to take everything you own from your drawers and your socks, go back for every citizen of this country who has died, waiting on an ambulance. But come back to this. Ask both the PNM and the UNC what are their positions on this critical issue of national development and management, and contrast their promises with their track record. The country you want to live in is on the other side of your vote. Use it wisely. Hear this PEP proposal, part of our comprehensive and robust package of financial legislation. A progressive empowerment party government would bring financial regulation legislation to the parliament that would, among other things, require insurance companies to settle in full any and all claims made against fully paid up policies, life, auto, home, you name it, within 90 days of the claim, or challenge any such claims for fraud in a soon-to-be determined branch of the High Court. If the insurance company fails to make their case in the court may award damages to the claimant totaling up to 10 times the amount initially claimed, plus costs. You see, you need financial regulations that protect your people. We have none of that now. It is why when Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj told Trinidad and Tobago in 2002 that CLICO and CL Financial was technically insolvent, the supervisor of insurance, the central bank governor, the ministers of finance to come and go, none of them said anything. They left Trinidadians on the spit, turning over the fire until the mark finally bust, because they had CLICO operatives at the highest level of the PNM and CLICO operatives at the highest level of the UNC. So the fix was in. It was always going to be rob the treasury through CLICO. This was never a bailout. This was armed robbery. And $25 billion of the people's money has been taken, stolen, never to be returned. Afra Raymond could cry blood, never to be returned. Never. Because they keep stacking the odds. Colm Imbert just fined $3 billion in charges. For fire trucking what? For what, Colm? For them to argue with each other over who thief more? Come on, man. When are you all going to stop? When are you all going to stop? You're not seeing, you all don't realize what time it is. Trinidadians fed up. Fed up. They're fed up. I worry for this country. Trinidadians are fed up. Somebody going to trip. I am worried for this country. You all are making it impossible for the average person to have a proper life. And that is their right by law. A progressive empowerment party government promises you. This is a contract with the people of Trinidad and Tobago that every one of those criminals and their co-conspirators, the companies in the chambers of commerce, the alphabet soup of accounting firms that have been hiding and disguising madness taking place in boardrooms, the banksters, the lawyers, the entire professional class that facilitate the theft of the people's money, all of them will be brought to justice. We promise you that. We promise you that. We will ensure that justice is served, and not 9 years and 15 years, fast, swift justice. Before them case start, we put in white collar legislation in place. White collar legislation. If we could prove you take it, bring it back. RICO statute. You know what that is? In the United States of America, there's something called a RICO statute. And if you are convicted, in fact, they could hold everything you own until the case done. And if you are convicted, you lost everything. I want to tell you, boy, I want to stand up in that audience and watch Trinidadians' face as all them Lamborghini and Ferrari and Rolls Bentley get auctioned. I hope some of them end up walking Uber. I want to take some of them house in Goodwood Park and use them for homeless people just to make a point. just to make a point, stink and dirty oppressors that we have had in this country as high society, as a professional class, as a business class, and as a political class, ganging up and raping the people and separate them by race and telling them, don't take them on, them is Indian, yeah, don't take them on, them black. And that bullshit has determined us how we've stayed in this condition for all of this time. For all of this time. And it cannot be allowed to continue. Because there is nowhere for us to go. You need to understand. We shared a letter last night. The permanent secretaries sending out letters to all the companies in the government, all the departments, trim staff, fire staff, stop buying liquid paper. Stop, bring your own pencil from home. No toilet paper in Central Bank here. No toilet paper. The treasury listen, we out of money, we out of credit, and we nearly out of time. This is a serious, serious issue, Trinidad and Tobago. All of these people who are marauding and raping and thieving, they're not going to be here when they mark bus. They're not going to be here. They don't buy their fancy digs outside. They don't have their business fixed. They're churning on outside already. It's thief out, sell out, and digs out. That's the game. PNM and UNC. And you need to understand what we're talking about, because nothing I'm telling you is a lie. Right now, Rohan Sinanan, just as an example, needs to answer to this nation if the QREP interchange is to be built on the site that used to be Kedona Drive-In Cinema. And if yes, he needs to answer if he is now or ever was the owner of that land, because I understand that they're trying to disguise ownership. Rohan Sinanan has a responsibility to this nation to come clean on who owns Bridgeman Services. And I don't give a fire truck about fixing TNT, you know. Kirkwaite could miss me with all his opportunistic bullshit. Get Kirkwaite out of the way. Rohan, I talking to you 6 months now. I talking to you dead on 6 months now. Explain to the people who you gave that contract to. Explain who gave the instruction to terminate the board that wanted to reapprove the Superfast Glacier at 10 o'clock that Monday evening. Explain to the nation, these people who are on the board now, what their role and purpose is. And you explain to Trinidad and Tobago how you gave a contract to a company that was a ghost 5 days before they got the contract. 2 weeks before, they had no idea about boats. Explain to the people, Rohan Sinanan. And I'm sorry, you're going to be the token Indian in this black party. And I feel they set you up for a fall just to hit Kamala by a behind the scenes job. But I don't care about all of this racist, tribal bullshit all you're playing. Because the rest of that cabal that with you, Rohan, we want you to spill the beans. You need to come straight to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Phone lighting up. Everybody want to give me information. I have more information and I know what to do with. You know what you gotta give me? You gotta give me a support. You gotta give me money to run this party. I gotta get ready to come and vote. When we tell you come out, stand up, because we don't want to wait the next 3 years for elections. We have to decide now. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to just stop working. We have to stop buying. We have to just wait till an election is called. We cannot continue this way. This is insanity. You have rights under the Constitution, the supreme law of the country. You have rights, and those rights need to be enforced. You have to want those rights enforced, and you have to protect them. I put out a message today because somebody told me, an intelligent girl, and she was telling me, well, you know, I'm not really into politics, and I said, love, politics is into you. Politics just cancel gate. So if you wanted to go on further your education, fire burn you. Politics has taxed your money 13% in your pocket. Every time they pull it out, they take a piece. So what you can afford to buy and what you think you would, politics affect that. Because of politics, you, my dear, unless you inherit a house or go on squat, will never be considered a homeowner. You will never. Your children, because you are not into politics, your children will never be safe. And your lack of interest in politics has your loved ones at risk in any emergency that requires an ambulance. Because they will never, ever, ever survive. Look at what is going on. They have no not being into politics. Martin Luther King said, if you are silent during the times of great moral crisis, you're choosing the side of the oppressor. A great German philosopher, I can't remember his name right now, he said, failure to speak is to speak. Failure to act is to act. History will not hold us innocent. We will be recorded as having spent the time, no, the last times of being able to rescue this nation is now. Make no mistake about that. We are at a place right now where lifeboats. And there are a lot of people who, they just go quiet for a while. You don't hear from them, and you only realize they were quiet when they pop back up on social media, posting pictures of them in a foreign land. They cut their losses. And I understand that. Not everybody brave, not everybody strong, not everybody could take this kind of jamming. Some get her out, take you out. I understand. I understand. But we who here, we have to fix this. And all of you who are outside, all of you foreign-based Trinis who want a Trinidad to come back to, or to bring your children to and say, this is where I used to run when I was a little boy and a little girl, this is where I used to play. You have to help us fix this. Look at Ali G and that crew in New York City, working tirelessly for the past 3 or 4 days, shopping up a storm. You know what they're buying? School books and notebooks and rulers and bags. Kenneth Luca here donate about 100 school bags. And they're doing that and packing barrels to ship here for poor children, so they can go to school. In a nation that is so wealthy, it should be free. We cannot continue like this. As Kurt Allen said, we will end up in a crisis. I fear we're there. I fear that we are already there. Somebody is going to do something. It's already happening. The trains have left the station. I think our reality, right now, our reality in Trinidad and Tobago is frightening. And I worry for us. I cannot lie. I cannot lie. But I want to tell you something. No matter who, no matter what little gang, no matter what they have. You see, Venezuelans, they're out now in their millions. A little bit too late. Some of you tried to appease Chavez. Some of you tried to negotiate with Maduro. And all of that was bullshit. You have to be able to tell when your democracy was in crisis. Our democracy is in crisis now. Keith Rowley is nobody's friend. Kamala has never been anybody but Kamala UNC financier friends. When they hit the road to talk, is bullshit they're talking. Ask Kamala. Ask her. Ask Keith Rowley. Why you never build the maritime security wall to stop the drug trade? Ask both of them. Ask Kamala and Keith, if 40% of the containers come through this country without being stopped in a nation known internationally as a narcotics pipeline, why? Why would that be so? Why didn't you build a proper port and unstuff the containers on the port? Why didn't you use the scanners that was donated by the United States of America and miss us with the bullshit about Watson Duke didn't sign off on anything? This is national security. Watson Duke could stick his 2 fingers in an apple pie. See how nice I behave. Stop making the people fools. It is time. Listen. Trinidad and Tobago, it is time, get ready. We are assembling this Saturday at 6 in Tunapuna. Every 2 weeks there's a public meeting. Come out, pick up the mic and say, Philip Alexander is a mother ass, and here why, it's an open mic. My phone, you can call me now, 682-2110, say it live. Tell people what you think you know. All you chatter. Bad talk. Who you working for? Who sent you on that mission? Destroy the messenger to kill the message. That's why I say I want to walk. People beg, God, Philip, I want to walk. So if I don't want to walk, it don't matter. So you can listen to me knowing I want nothing for it. I don't want no money, no shortcut, no contract, no job, nothing. I ain't running for nothing. So I just talk in so you have a chance to listen to somebody who wants to just give it away for free. Yeah? We are assembling the Orange Army. We are assembling this Saturday at 6 p.m. Ozenville and Sapodilla streets in Tunapuna. You have to come out. Your nation is in crisis. And if you're sitting down home looking to watch the revolution televised on TV, you will not enjoy it. You need to be part of the revolution of hearts and minds. The Orange Revolution is the place to be right now. Come and join us. Add your voice to ours. Add your ideas, your mind. People, we have the brightest, most capable people in Trinidad and Tobago. They leave here and they go foreign and they soar. Why we can't soar here? Why we can't be the best in the world right where we planted? Why? What is the problem? Why we taking that for so long? Why black people and Indian people in this country so foolish as to believe that the two races are at odds when nowhere else on planet Earth, are black people and Indian people enemies? Only in Trinidad and Tobago, how we vote is not how we party. How are you allowing them to fool you with foolishness again and again and again and again? How? Better yet, why?
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can protect our country's faith. But use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out.
Hello, good evening, your life.
Mr. Philip,
Yes.
you know, you speak a lot of interesting topics and points. I know you're live.
You live too.
Huh?
You are live too.
Right, I know that. I've been keep saying, you know, in Trinidad and Tobago, we in this country could bring back this country. And, you know, you have set out so much great points here, you know, and I've always said, and I'll keep saying, agriculture could bring back this country. And you see, the government wants to push agriculture, but they want to help the big people in terms of who has hundreds of acres of land being cultivated. Why don't they help the small farmers who are under them? Because these are the people who have great impact as well too.
Indeed.
Not only the ones who cultivating 10,000 acres,
Absolutely agree with you. Where are you calling from?
right?
Where
On the southeast coast.
Are you coming to Tunapuna this Saturday at 6?
I'll try my best, sir.
If you
Not
could
taking
come,
any promises.
call a Uber, rent a buffalo or a bicycle, come and let's talk. I'll introduce you to Shamla Maraj. She's our intended Minister of Agriculture, and she will tell you how from 1 acre up, we plan to rebuild agriculture and food production as a pillar of this country's redevelopment.
Right? Two things that could build is agriculture and tourism.
Absolutely.
Now, due to the crime state, tourists are afraid to come to Trinidad.
Yep.
Why should this be so? Right?
Time to
We
fix
went
it.
to a certain place to work today where people talk about these people being uncivilized. And you know what? These people show that, you know what? You all don't need to put a lock in a building to lock it down. People left tools outside. It was protected. Nothing was interfered with.
Hold for a second.
Guys.
Hold for a second. Pause for a second. There's a guy named Agri Dylan Marsh just posted on the wall, Trinidad don't have the land to support agriculture. You see, they are victims of this PNM education, and he is one of them. Tobago fed practically the whole world for a long time, you know. And up to the 70s, Trinidad was a net food exporter. We used to take care of all of our own food. But people don't understand that. And nowadays, with modern farming techniques and food processing, there are ways that this country will be able to grow more food than it could ever use 10 times over. We need to get back into that situation. This is the conversation we need to have, and I thank you for raising that issue, my friend. This is the truth. We need to stop believing bullshit. And Mr. Mash, if you're coming on my wall, make sure you know what you're talking about now, because you gotta bring facts. You have to bring facts. Brother, please present the facts. Google, you should know the history of your own country. Trinidad cocoa still is the primary cocoa in the world right now. Just that alone could replace anything else we need. Our first boom was a cocoa boom. It built the Magnificent Seven around the savannah. Do your research. Learn the history of your country.
If it is the time is now that change should come about, just as how you vote them in, vote them out, register and vote them out. If they don't see, vote them out. State your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy, vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our work on.
Hello, good evening. You're live.
Yes, hi, good night, Philip. This is Janice from Diego Martin.
Hi, Janice.
I would like to, we talk about brain drain leaving Trinidad and Tobago. But when the brain drain wants to return home with their foreign spouse and their families, the amount of unfair treatment that they get from immigration is totally unacceptable.
Absolutely.
There has to be change in the immigration department where people can be treated fairly and not be terrorized.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people out there, especially when the office on Frederick Street was closed down by Duke. There was nowhere for them, people who needed to get their extensions of stay put into their passports. And there are a lot of people out here who are hurting in Trinidad because immigration doesn't give two hoots about the fact that they dropped the ball and they want to penalize people now by telling them that they have to leave the country to come back into the country.
Let's not celebrate or share any further how badly they handle their jobs. I want to promise you something. That's why we tell Trinidadians we want 41 seats, We don't want 21 seats. We want 41 seats. We want to be able to undo and redo. And when we say undo and redo, we want to read the riot act to the immigration department. And who do not want to come into the 21st century, we will fire them. And we need to be able to fire them. And I want to go down by SM Jalil and buy up truckloads of chubby for when Duke and Roger want to march. Because we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, all these little gangs that we control and think they have fiefdoms in this country, all that have to done. We have to treat our people with respect. I agree with you. And our people's spouses. Because Trinidadians living abroad are treated with the greatest of respect. So why we can't return the favor?
Correct.
Thanks a lot for your call.
We need to do something about it.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for your call, man.
No problem. Bye.
Let's put our country together again. If for 30 years you voting them in, and there's only tears as soon as they win. They give you big words and enslave your soul, promising you roads and giving potholes. If they are the reason why the economy goes sprout, when you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the passing laws that them alone can flout, when you're voting, vote them out.
Sorry about being distracted. We're getting plenty messages.
If it is the building ISOs, east, west, north and south, they say where you vote them in, vote them out.
Mr. Marsh, I don't get into crosstalk on the video, but I want you to understand something. You're talking about economics. I want you to research food independence. The world population is in the billions right now, and it is only going to be a matter of time before it is too many people on this earth for them to remember to send wheat and potatoes to Trinidad and Tobago. We need to become food independent. Don't ask me for data to compare selling our 50 breadfruit with 50 billion tons of corn grown in America. Miss me with that bullshit. What I'm saying is we can grow more than enough food in this country to feed ourselves and protect ourselves from being the slaves of anybody else in the future who has to provide us our food. And if you cannot understand that, I cannot help you. Get ready to tell Rowley, you are fired. You are the weakest link. Seriously. Kid Rowley had to be the weakest link we've ever had as a prime minister. But all of them full of shit. Fire all, Forrest Short, Roma Girl, Romper Boy, Supsa Man. This entire cabinet is an embarrassment and a joke. It made the last cabinet look good, and they was an embarrassment and a joke. Groper Man, hug and kiss, take off your clothes. That was the last government. Oh gosh, man, why we can't get a government that people like say, you know, are proud of my government. We've never been proud of our government in this country. Maybe perhaps the NAR, until Robbie found out he was the Une of Ife and come back here and talk bullshit. We need a government that understands the government job is to serve the people, and that's it. Stop the self-glorification. Stop the blue light itis. Stop needing the tallest house on the hill.
People must come first. Citizens by right. None of you are worse. Yellow, black or white. Food, shelter and clothes. Free movement and speech. A garden that grows. And one law for each. If it is that injustice is what they always show. When you're voting, vote them all. Vote them all. If it is that avarice is all they seem to know. When you're voting, vote them all. Vote them all. If it is their politics, it's
Just a puppy show.
When elections day come,
All bandit must go.
register and
Make sure you're registered.
if they don't see,
Go on the EBC website. Find your name.
show them.
If it's not there, go and fix that
Put them out in total scorn
and utter disdain.
Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power.
Terminate their reign.
Let's put our country together again.
Saturday at 6 p.m. Come out in your numbers. Celebrate your nation. Join hands with your brothers and sisters. Bring the kids. Bring the whole family. Come and be part of the new dispensation. The revolution of hearts and minds that wants to change this country. Come on, do not be overwhelmed when I say that people so intelligent, you know. When I say that, come and add your voice to the conversation. We have had fantastic ideas come from the simplest of persons. So don't discredit yourself at all. We are open to everybody. Every creed and race, short or tall, fat or or slim, black or white, brown, green, and every shade in between. We don't ask who you're worshiping or who you're lying down with in the night. Once you care about Trinidad and Tobago and you're able to live well with other people, come and join the Progressive Empowerment Party. All of our policies empower the people. We plan to redevelop Trinidad and Tobago one community at a time. A community is made up of its people. Once we rebuild the people, the communities will thrive. And as a nation is a collection of communities. Once all our communities working, our nation will shine. That is the plan. That is the goal. 5 short years. 5 short years. Not Vision 2050, 2090. Miss me with that bullshit. Deal with housing, education, healthcare, security, food self-sufficiency. Deal with that and save the book-binding bullshit, Keith Rowley and Patrick Manning. I hope you're rotating in that grave. Waste people time. Take the country for a ride. We need to undo and redo. We need to fix this country. We need to be the great democracy that Trinidad and Tobago was created to be. And we will do that. 1.3 million of us strong. Yes? So I hope to see you all Saturday at 6 p.m. Orsonville Park, Tunapuna. Next 2 weeks, we're in Point 14. So Point people, get ready. The same school, all the land base Rowleyan, we coming right there. So come out in your numbers. And this time, the open mic belongs to you. Talk your talk. To all the media professionals who are stalking my page and watching these videos, please come out to the meetings, man. Come out, come out. Do yourself and your country a service for a change. Come out to the meeting and cover it. You're invited. When they have roti and pie and food sharing, you will get to eat. Come and join us. You're citizens of Trinidad and Tobago too. You should want better for your country too. At some point, you must be able to understand. Making firewood out of the planks of the same ship all are we sinking on, not going to help you when we drown in. You need to join hands with us too and fire these mocking pretenders. Come out and tell Keith and Kamala, miss us with the bullshit. We're done. We're getting ready to right that unforgivable wrong. 55 years of PNM and UNC is too long. Time to fix that. Yes, see all of you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. See all of you in your thousands in Orsonville Park in Tunapuna. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.